So let's talk about Emmanuel Macron and France in East Africa. So first of all, Emmanuel Macron is in Nairobi and is there for a conference where he was gonna speak, or he already spoke. And France is problematic because first of all, French companies have been involved in electoral fraud in Kenya. They were caught red-handed and they refused to produce the information that they were asked to produce on a timely manner by the court. So already right there, they're involved in disrespecting the not just the judicial system, but the people, the will of the people, because they refused to provide the information that they were requested, and this information would prove there was tampering in the election and election fraud took place. So there is that, meaning they are supporting William Ruto and they are helping him. Basically, they helped him get into power. And before that, there was Uhuru Kenyatta. So these are basically their puppets. And these are clown. This is a clown show. It's a clown show completely. So there's that issue. The other issue is Emmanuel Macron says he's a Pan-Africanist and they're uniting Africa. So this is rich coming from European Union, because European Union, if you remember, there was something called Brexit. Brexit was the UK basically divorcing the rest of Europe. It was a loud and noisy divorce. And guess who was holding the divorce hub? Emmanuel Macron. And he was talking about something about fish and boats. And he's the reason why they were dragging the whole thing, just dragging the British, who were kicking and screaming all over the place about this divorce. They were just holding them back from separating from the European Union. So it was Emmanuel Macron doing this. So the fact that European Union and the UK, they are separated, right there. You cannot unite. You need to unite with the UK first before you can tell us that you can unite anybody else around the world. The other thing, the French have been kicked out of Senegal. Senegal was a former French colony, and they do speak French over there in Senegal. Just a couple of weeks ago or something, the French, the Senegalese government refused to renew their contract for them to have a base in Senegal. And not just that, all the countries that were either colonized or had France in their country, all of them are complaining. They are complaining they don't want France in their country because France is messy. France is messy. So they interfere with the will of the people. They have no respect. Their way of life is not compatible with the rest of the majority of the world. So I don't know what Macron is talking about, that the French way, you have to have respect. And the French way is not compatible with a lot of this, with a lot of cultures around the world. And they're getting kicked out left, right, and center. The only difference, they're not getting kicked out the way America got thrown out of the Middle East by Iran. That's the only difference. French is getting thrown out of Africa and other countries. In Haiti too, they don't want France there, and Haitians speak French. So countries that speak French don't want France there. So I don't know where they're coming off going to East Africa. And a majority of East African countries were British colonies, meaning they speak English, they don't speak French. And they don't only speak English, they speak the native language, Kiswahili, and English. And now France wants to come there to force them to adopt French, which nobody asked for. Nobody asked for this. So Macron basically needs to go back to France. It's that simple. He's getting kicked out. France is getting kicked out from all countries around the world, particularly in Africa. So they should basically go back to France, because the sun has set. And if they want to get under the skin of the British, going in British colonies to pretend that they are trying to unite and bring some form of civilization that the British didn't bring, they need to deal with the British in Europe. They're in the same continent in Europe. They need to deal with the British over there, because the British will divorce them over there. So if they want the British back, they need to go back over there and court the British, because, the British did not want anything to do with France and the European Union. They decided to, if it's gonna be bad, and they're gonna perish, they're gonna perish on their own. So there's that issue. And then you have the issue of croissants. So Macron, when there was the issue of who was the inventor of biryani, and this was Indians. Indians were talking about biryani being there, being that they invented biryani, and there was an issue there, a trademark issue. So Macron decided to jump into this conversation. He decided to jump into this conversation, and his response was the croissant was invented by the French chefs, which nobody ever said it was not invented by the French. So, and he went ahead and went to the UN. It was a whole thing, and the discussion was about biryani, not croissant. So there was that issue of Macron just stealing the show and just talking about issues about himself and France. Nothing to do with what was going on. And then prior to that, there was the issue of Macron. Basically, when he was running for re-election, he was basically saying that the entire planet Earth is ganging up against France and trying to steal the Eiffel Tower. Like, dude, nobody was trying to steal the Eiffel Tower, but this is Macron. He went to Paris. All of a sudden, he was all over the place. They are trying to steal the Eiffel Tower. This was implied, that is, trying to steal the Eiffel Tower. The entire world is trying to steal the Eiffel Tower. And everybody was like, no. To an extent, there was a politician in Australia who had to release a statement telling Macron, like, nobody is trying to steal the Eiffel Tower. And if the entire world was ganging up to steal the Eiffel Tower, it would have been stolen. It would have been stolen, okay? So nobody's interested in stealing the Eiffel Tower. I don't know who's planning to steal the Eiffel Tower. They're probably over there in Paris. It's going to be the local people over there who are planning to steal the Eiffel Tower, but nobody else. Nobody's interested in stealing the Eiffel Tower. So with that said, Macron and France need to go back to Paris. The sun has set on the French, and they should just go on. They need to go home. Go home. The sun has set, go home. And East Africa has its own problems, and they need to deal with their own problems. But the French interfering, they are claiming to be bringing solutions when in reality they're just being messy. They're just being messy. They're just being messy. There's no solution they're bringing. When it comes to culture, people have their own cultures. They have their own cultures to deal with, their own issues to fix. They need to work on that. They don't need the French culture. They already have their own cultures. With that said, that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.